Oh my God, release the Snyder Cut, Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flicks Show. My name is Chris Wong. Of course, the biggest thing to drop today for us Zack Snyder, DCEU, Snyderverse fans, and other people on my channel, is that Zack Snyder posted on Vero a very nice screenshot maybe of the Flash on a bunch of rubble, behind or in front of the sun coming up, the dawn of justice, if you will. He says this: like Flash, we are running the clock back and giving Bruce the info that will save the world. Bruce, it's the t-shirts. We are relaunching All the Gods t-shirt campaign till Sunday. You are not too late. And of course, I already bought the shirt. I encourage everybody to go buy the shirt as well. It's actually a very good t-shirt material. It's not, sometimes you buy t-shirts and they're like really thick. This was actually comfortably nice. I live in Hawaii and I wore it. It's a black shirt and I wore it comfortably outside in 80-degree weather. That should say something. I wore it comfortably. But in any case, yes, the t-shirts are still on sale. It's I think the campaign has reached like over 70,000 by now, which is amazing for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. And all those proceeds are going to that, and that is great. But you want to know about the picture. Oh, you want to know about the picture? Well, it's the Flash amongst some rubble. He's clearly saying about Flash running the clock back. Now, we kind of knew and we kind of saw even some storyboards of Flash seeing the mother boxes unite and knowing that he has to go back in time and save everyone. Maybe everybody dies, right? It's either Steppenwolf or Darkseid kills everyone and he runs back in time to save everyone, and things like that. So it's possible. He's almost telling us that it's possible that's going in time. Also, that that one symbol that he put on the shirt shows a little bit of that. The time, Flash going back to time, Bruce dying, things like that, right? So we've seen that. So it's probably true, and it's really most likely true. But is that what this picture is? No. No, unfortunately, this picture, well, not unfortunately, it's kind of cool still yet. This picture is actually a test shot of Flash, and it is on the set of Fantastic Beasts, because Clay Enos actually came out and says, I remember this day on the backlot, and I love that Ezra was keenly aware and delighted to be standing on a pile of rubble that his character in Fantastic Beasts has created. And of course, we've got our good old Royal Wakefield, who actually got this picture of Fantastic Beasts, composed Flash into the exact part of that rubble that he stood on. So that's basically that. That's because Fantastic Beasts shot around the same time, in the same general area, or same time as Justice League started in 2016. So they were able to do that. And why? Well, they probably saw some rubble that kind of actually compares it to maybe the third act of Justice League, and they wanted to test to see how Ezra looked in that Flash suit, and with some good lighting and things like that. And that is pretty much what that is. Now, that doesn't mean that that third act never existed. I believe it did. I believe it's very similar to the first shot we ever see of Wonder Woman in her costume amidst the rubble, to kind of see how that scene will look, the coloration and everything, how that scene would look during the third act of Batman v Superman. So that's what this was probably intended, to see how Flash looked in amongst a similar type setting of rubble for the third act of Justice League, which is all great and which is all very cool. The other thing that was brought up was the symbol. His S, or that little zigzag, is like just one zig, while in the actual movie there is many parts, many angles in that lightning bolt on a white round circle, which is more Flash. Now there are people out there who will also argue that they have known this for a while. I think even Casanova Nova Frankly actually tweeted out that back in May of 2018 that they changed the Flash because Jeff Johns actually wanted it more Flash-like. We're not sure if that's actually true, but it is very apparent that during the beginning this Flash costume didn't make it to the Flash costume that we see in the Justice League movie. And that also includes the parts that we know Snyder shot. It doesn't have to be just the Justice League version of it, but even the ones that Zack Snyder shot. And you can actually see some of the ones he shot. Flash in the background does indeed have the white round symbol with that thunderbolt that we are come to know for Flash. So that is interesting, and it could just mean that there was different prototypes of suits they have gone through. Does it have anything to do with the story elements? No. Does it have to do with Nightmare, the Nightmare scene Flash? No. As you know, the Nightmare Flash is actually more robotic. That headpiece comes up, so no, that did not happen. So this is not part of that. But it is great to see this shot, something we've never seen before. The color grading, the way it's shot, it's so Zack Snyder. It looks incredible and beautiful. It really does look like a snapshot, a scene right out of the movie. And it would have been way more exciting if this was actually from the Snyder Cut. But unfortunately, that's not the case here. That's not the Snyder Cut here. Now there are a couple things, several things I want to go over. And this is about our kind of fandom here and what we're trying to gather all this information from people who have sources and people who don't have sources, or people who claim they have sources and people who don't have, scoopers and bloggers and whatever, right? And it's hard to discern. I understand, discern who's telling truth, who knows what. Everybody, I can literally come up and say, hey, I've got a source. He's a WB. He works at Warner Brothers. He works with Zack, whoever, and should you trust me? I don't know. Maybe you will. Maybe you won't. But that's why I keep an open mind when I report all these things. That's why I have the tinfoil. The tinfoil protects me from logic, but it lets me play in the speculative field for speculation because it's fun. It's fun to figure out and guess what Warner Brothers is trying to do. Because at this moment, Warner Brothers has not said a thing about the Snyder Cut. They may have, their bloggers and media sites, even Wikipedia, may have said that they have acknowledged something, but no, they did not said. There's no named executive at Warner Brothers who have actually acknowledged that the Snyder Cut does not exist or exists. So that's where we're still at. That's where we're at still yet. We have no clue what's going on. Really. You can look at the Wall Street Journal and reread that. And we already talked about the Wall Street Journal article. That was a way to try to squash this. Or it's the studio not actually telling him anything, not actually want to tell that person anything. And I think that's another reason why that article came out the way it came out. Because he was gathering information, and the part that hoping that maybe the answer from the Warner, whoever he talked to, that PR person, whoever he talked to, would say, hey, the publicist will tell him, hey, you're right, the Snyder Cut does exist. And then he'll pull all the information from the Snyder Cut fandom, including Jay Oliva, and then that would support that argument. But because that publicist refused to talk about it or said that it's not real, so we're not going to release the Snyder Cut, he took that and got arguments support that statement, that publicist statement. Now, I want to talk about what these publicists are, these PR statements, this Hollywood, even politics is the same thing. If they don't want you to know something, if they don't want you to release something without them ready to release something, they'll blatantly lie to you. Oh, yeah. Studios will lie to you. They lie all the time so that the PR people can crush things that are stories that are not meant to be told yet. They're meant to be told later, or they're going to choose the right the right newspaper and article to release whatever information that they're holding within. I want to talk about, this is from a while back, and this is from Collider. I know what's your thoughts on Collider, but there's one folk named Christian Harloff. Before he was on Collider, he was on the Schmoedown, they were starting to do that scooper game. They were starting to do that, and they got some right. They released some news tidbits that came out, and they've got it all from their publicists that within the studio. When The Finest Hour was coming out, remember that movie with Chris Pine? They had a giant scoop that Chris Pine was the main leading actor for Finest Hour. So they wanted to check with their publicists at the studio. And you know what the publicist at that studio said? No, Chris Pine is not in that movie. No, that's a wrong scoop. Yeah, that's wrong. So they decide, okay, well, the publicist says, so no, it's deaded. So they didn't run with that story. But the next day, the Hollywood Reporter, I think was the rap, released news, exclusive breaking news. Chris Pine is leading The Finest Hour. And they're like, Christian Harloff and crew are like, what? The publicist blatantly lied to us so that media site could get the news, could get the exclusive scoop on that, right? So that's how it works. So am I worried that there's no Snyder Cut? No. I really do think they're waiting for the appropriate time. I really do. Appropriate time and the appropriate person to give that news to. Does that mean people like Louis Santano could be wrong? Absolutely. But time will tell. He did give out dates. San Diego Comic-Con, something's going to happen there. If not, November, something's going to happen this year. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. We can also judge for ourselves that some of these things are really out there. It really is out there. I mean, Ben Affleck gonna direct Justice League? Whoa, that's pretty out there. Henry Cavill signing some four films as Superman. That's a possibility. I mean, he kind of hinted signing something. That's still a possibility. Or he's using social media to prove to go through his negotiations. Hey, you never know what's going to happen. We don't know. But it's fun to hear all this stuff and speculate if it's ever going to come true. It really is. It is for me, at least. And I'm sure it is for you because you guys come and watch this all the time. By the way, for big tinfoil stuff, I'd really recommend you go and watch Dingus Bringus. He really taps into a lot of those big, giant rumors that are being circulated around, whether it's true or not. It is rumors. And so I would encourage you, if you want real tinfoil stuff, hey, give him a shout out and go check out his channel, Dingus Bringus. But what I'm trying to say is that's why I keep an open mind, because anything can happen. Like the trench. When the news of the trench came out, did any scooper actually say that actually was going to happen? No, did El Mayimbe, Humberto Gonzalez says, hey, I got a scoop. There's going to be this movie. It's going to be a spin-off of Aquaman, and it's going to be called The Trench, or it's going to be something to do with the trench. No, crickets. It literally just drops, and not one person knew that was going to happen. Not one person knew was that going to happen. It just drops. That's a scoop, and it was given to, what was it, the Variety or Hollywood, one of those bigger news outlets. It was just like bam, there you go. That's an exclusive for you. Nobody knew about it. No one knew about it. It just totally drops. That's what I'm talking about. We could have all these different rumors and things and happening, but when it comes, it's just gonna come. When something happens, when something announced, it's just gonna bam, it's just gonna blow out, and that's the way it's gonna be. Literally on the day of announcements, that's how it's gonna be. I believe that's how it's going to be. We're not going to even know what's going to happen. And like Jay Olivia said, if something big like that, and only really one person or two people know about it, it will be closer to the production like Zack Snyder, right? Sure, maybe there could be whispers among the crew, the employees, or whatever, but they're just whispers, and who knows they're being truthful or not. But it is great. I mean, it is just fun to really listen to that kind of stuff. It's really fun to speculate and I hope all the great stuff of those giant rumors really come true. But I'm also reserving the fact that that may not come true. The one thing that could actually come true of all, either Zack Snyder coming back or the DCU going back to the original, or Ben Affleck Ben Affleck going to do another Batman, which could still be true. But out of all that, the Snyder Cut coming out is probably the most true, possibly most true than any of the other stuff. That is actually something that could legitimately happen when compared to Zack Snyder doing Justice League 2 and 3. I want that all. Don't get me wrong. I want that all. But in terms of just thinking about it, in terms of having those reservations, the thing that will probably come true the most is that the Snyder Cut will eventually get released. And that gives me great pleasure. Just feeling that that would actually happen, because that is what we want. I mean, that's the ultimate goal as of right now, the most achievable goal as of right now, as we continue to make more noise. Zack Snyder is kind of campaigning it as well, even though he's using his T-shirt to be in a way of championing for American Foundation of Suicide Prevention, and also for the Snyder Cut, on the side, so that the student can say, "Hey, Zach, what are you doing, man?" But I think it's still great to discuss things, and it's still great to put it out there. But I would be very much would have reservations believing everything that you hear, everything that goes on Twitter and things like that. From one side, from the side that says nothing is happening, deaded, to the other side that says this and this is happening along the lines, Walter Amada is doing this and stuff like that. I would have reservations on all sides, but I love to hear of all of them, because anything is possible. And if, just like how we found out only on that day of San Diego Comic-Con that Batman was going to be in Batman versus Superman was the sequel to Man of Steel, we only found out that day. The Trench, we only found out that day. Then anything is possible. And just to be really optimistic about it, because, my God, one day I'm going to be on this, and I'm going to be looking at you and says, they've released a Snyder Cut. It's coming out. So until then, let's continue to speculate. Let's have fun with it. Let's hear what people have to say. And, it'll be up to you if you want to debunk it or not. It'll be up to you if you want to believe it or not. But it's just to have the joy in it. Just be part of it. And we're all fans. We're all here trying to release the Snyder Cut. At least most of us are. I don't know. Maybe Trevor Bott. Maybe not. Adam Levine. I don't know if you're still here. Adam Levine. Did I say Adam? Aaron Levine. But I just want to have fun with this, and I think you guys too. I enjoy all these different rumors that are coming out, all these big scoops and stuff like that. But I also look forward to the actual things that will happen. All right, guys. Well, that is it. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.